On today's video, we take a look at the 7hugs Smart Remote. Hi everyone, this is Ara Derdarian of the HT Guys, and we received an email a little while back asking us to take a look at the 7hugs Smart Remote. That's what we're going to do in this video. So what we'll do is we'll open up the box, take a look at what's on the inside, and then we'll set it up and see what it can do. Alright, so I've already opened up the box and removed the plastic because you don't want to see people just pull out plastic. What we have here is a remote. It's a good size here, you can see. It's glass screen here, and it's got a good kind of rubberized feel to it, so it'll stay in your hand. It's not charged, we have to charge that in a bit. And open the rest of the box. That's the charging base, and the charging base has got some good heft to it, so you can feel pretty confident when you put the remote on the charging base. It's not going to fall over very easily. Over there we have the power adapter, the wires in there. Have the user's manual, and then we have these devices here, these discs, and these discs go on a wall, and you can identify a certain feature or function with the disc. For instance, if I wanted this disc to be my thermostat, I would go through the setup and say this is my thermostat, and when I aim the remote at this disc, the thermostat controls would come up. So they have 3 of them, so you could set it up for various things, lights and other parts of your automation. And that's it. So let's get it put together and get the software updated and charge the batteries and see what this thing can do. So the update's done, and I downloaded the Smart Remote app by 7hugs. And this is where you're going to be adding your devices. So let's go to Setup. And it's going to ask you your name and everything. So I'm just going to go through all this stuff. I won't do it on the video. When we're ready to add something, I'll be right back. All right, so it asks you your name and email and all that stuff. Did that, and now it goes looking for the smart remote on your network. It found mine, so we're going to hit next. Select that's the one that's there. All right, so a code has popped up on the screen. I'll punch that in. Connect. All right, so we're good. Now it's loading our experience. All right, we've been added. Now what? Edit home, discover smart remote features. All right, so we'll say, okay, we got it. And we can add our first device. So let me go ahead and do that. And then once I've got it added, I will be back to you. So it's a cool feature. You can add IR devices or Wi-Fi and Bluetooth devices. You can see on here, it's got Hue lights, Wemo for your home automation. Let's see, what else we got? IR devices for TVs and whatnot. So it should be pretty straightforward to add the devices. Let me go ahead and add those, and then we'll kind of see what we got. So I found my 3 Apple TVs, and fortunately I had named them, and makes it very easy to distinguish which one it is. So we're going to connect to the family room, and we need to pair our Apple TV. You can now add this item to your TV scene. Got it. Okay, simple as that. Got an Apple TV in there. All right, now let me go add some IR devices. I'm going to move to the room because I'm going to have line of sight with it. Okay, we have to actually go and pair it on the Apple TV. You connect up, and then you select the device in the settings under Bluetooth. And so now we have the controls of the Apple TV. We can swipe up, we'll hit menu, and it will go to menu. You get some tactic feedback, which is kind of cool. So you know that you've actually hit the button. And now we can kind of slide over. Whoops, there we go. Look at the Apple TV. All right, so even if all I did was add this as an Apple TV, it'd be kind of expensive, an Apple TV remote. I like it better simply because of the tactic feedback that you get. All right, let's add a few more devices. Okay, so now we've said we've got a Vizio TV, and I did that on the app. Then you come over to the remote, and it says find your model. Smart remote needs to test different codes to find your device. So we'll hit start. It says test the button below to make sure that and point it at your device during test. So we'll do that. All right, so I just kind of went through it and said yes, everything was working, because typically if you can turn it on and off, everything's working. Then I just exited the setup, and sure enough, I've got all my controls. If I hit menu, the menu should come up on screen. And that's the TV menu. And then there's a guide button, but I don't think my TV has a guide. If I hit exit, it should go back, menu, exit. All right, everything seems to be working. All the controls seem to be in place. So I think we are good as far as the TV setup. Okay, so I got all my devices added. It took a little while to figure it out. It wasn't completely intuitive, but it wasn't terribly difficult either. So I have my Oppo, I have my Vizio TV, I have a Yamaha receiver, and my Apple TV. So now I need to add an activity, and then I think once we get that kind of going, we'll work on doing some home automation stuff as well. All right, so I have gone ahead and added a couple of activities, and I have Watch TV and Blu-ray. It was pretty straightforward to do. Use the app to answer some questions. The app has absolutely no control of the television. It's just there to help with the setup. The remote control is the only way to control the television or any of the other devices. I was going to add the discs, but then I read the instructions, and I'm just going to come over here because I didn't actually do it. It says you need to put the discs on 3 different walls. Let's see, this is the one that looks like it's okay, right? And it also has to be in line of sight of the remote, the charging base. So then you point at one of the discs that you say, let's say, is my thermostat. The issue for me is the thermostat is not in sight. That's not a big deal, so I'm just going to aim it. Let's say if we use this configuration, maybe I make that one there my thermostat, and then I can make this one automation, and then that one the television. Regardless, to me that's not that big of an improvement, because these things on the wall, there's no way my wife's going to let that happen. Concept, I liked the concept. It would have been great if it could have just had some sort of mechanism in the remote control that you would calibrate, and it would know where the television was through, I don't know, GPS or compass. And then when you just moved the remote control into the general area without the discs, it would make life a little bit easier. So I didn't bother going ahead and setting this up just because I know there's no way my wife's going to go for that. And I just kind of thought that was not really that big of a deal. I have all that capability on my tablet and my smartphone. I don't see anything added. Now let's go back to the. I'm not gonna. Let's see. Have to unlock my phone. Didn't want you to see my code. Okay, so let's go back to the remote control. I found it a little bit cumbersome to add the devices. There was no clean way of just going in there and saying, when I watch Blu-ray, I'm on HDMI 2. You literally go through like a wizard, and you click buttons until you see the screen, and then you say, okay, this is the input. As it turns out, inefficient, but I can see where maybe for someone who didn't want to directly go in there and do the remote, straight setup, it might be easier for them, maybe for like a novice or something. The other thing is the IR control. You have to be aimed directly at the devices. My Harmony has a like a repeater that I use, and I've got that in the same cabinet of my gear, and it just blasts out the signal, and I guess it reflects off the wall, so I never have to have the remote aimed at the devices. This one, there were a lot of times where it missed the signal or the command, and I had to go in and use the help mechanism to get everything synced back up, kind of like my Harmony from way back when. At $250, I'm not going to say this thing is worth it. You're better off getting a Harmony remote. I think the remote itself, the feel of it, everything about it is pretty cool. Then you can kind of, select what devices. Here's your Apple TV device, and you can see it has all the cool controls there. Here's the television, but again, you have to kind of slide over because they can't fit all the controls on here. My Harmony remote has a ton of buttons, physical buttons. In fact, I've even got a couple buttons set up for lights, and I just press, and they're dedicated to lights. So I hit the button and the lights turn on, and I can change the intensity. This one, I would be able to do the same, but I would just have to scroll over to the actual device as opposed to having a bunch of buttons on the controller. Based on that, I'm not really going to recommend this remote control. I think it's kind of, the concept is there, but the execution isn't quite what we'd like it to do. Anyway, we probably will give this away. Even with the negative review, you may be okay with some of the flaws that I have or complaints that I have about it, so you will have some sort of giveaway where you can enter and get a chance to win it. So that's a review of the 7hugs Smart Remote. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like this video. It helps us quite a bit with doing more of these types of reviews. You can support the show at Patreon, patreon.com/HDTV podcast. Sign up for a recurring donation. We greatly appreciate it. If you don't like Patreon, you can go to our website, buy us a cup of coffee. It's a metaphor, it's a PayPal donation. On the website, you can click on the various sizes, and they equate to different dollar amounts. That's at htguys.com. And again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.